and welcome to another Transformers review. Today I'm taking a look at the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Buster Optimus Prime KO. Huge thank you to the guys at tf-direct.com. I'll put the link in the description below to this figure. It's the first time I've used them and shipping was impeccable. It takes about a week to get to the UK. I'll put the whole list of how their shipping prices and that work because it's different prices for different weights. I'll put all that down in the description down here. But yeah, it took about a week to get to me and it was perfectly packed. I mean, I could have done a typical Royal Mail and kicked it across the room and then delivered it, and it was impeccable. So thank you guys, thank you very much for that. Yes, this is a KO. I don't own any of the mould anymore, and I was looking around, and they've really shot up in price. And then I found this this particular one, and I was like, that's the KO. And I thought, you know, for that price, I mean, I paid like $60 for this, which is nothing compared to what they are on eBay now. And I thought, I'm going to give it a go. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, then you guys know to avoid this mould. So first impressions, we get it out of the shipping box, and it looks just like the Takara box, albeit it does feel a little bit flimsier. It feels like it's made of a slightly thinner card, and you can't really pick that out on the back here, but it's not quite printed properly. You can tell it's not official, and the actual box itself isn't quite as dark and isn't quite as glossy as the original Takara release. But everything else is pretty much the same. I mean, the giveaway point here is probably the tech and the spec down the side here. It just doesn't quite look the same as what an official release does. But other than that, I mean, yes, you are. Let's get you out of the box and take a look at you. And he's out of his plastic prison. Wow. I'm genuinely surprised. I'm normally not overly caught back by knockoffs. I mean, the Masterpiece ones, they are fantastic. They really are. But I'm still convinced that they are a kind of factory rejects. But this guy, wow. I'm really impressed. This is the first time I've had the Buster version of the mould, and wow, the gas tank gun, that is a complete pain. I'll cover that shortly when I go over the transformation. But yeah, I'm a little bit gobsmacked. Before we take a closer look at this guy, first of all, I'm just going to point out the differences. They are very small and very few. If you look along here, you've got this kind of pinstriping. This is thicker on the KO, and it does actually look a lot nicer, in my opinion. The chest section, it's kind of slightly different. It's hard to explain it. It doesn't overly look different in appearance, but I think the mechanism's slightly different. There's the paint apps themselves are slightly sloppier. If you take a look at the toe, there's a little bit of red missing on the toes there. But all in all, I mean, I didn't have, like I said, didn't have the Buster Prime myself, but my friend did, and I used to really. But the chrome on this, don't hold me to this, but I think the chrome on the KO is actually chromey. Is that a real word? It's so nice. This KO has been a long time coming, but I'm so glad it's finally here. If you take a look at the feet here, you can see what I mean about the paint application. It is slightly sloppier there. Got a little bit of chrome missing on there, but that is incredible. Unfortunately, this is, I say unfortunate, I mean, I personally would have preferred the masked version as opposed to the unmasked version. But still, paint apps are nigh on impeccable. The look and feel of this, it feels like a Takara product. It knocks the socks off the Hasbro one. There's a lot of weight here. Everything feels tight. I mean, the shoulder joints themselves, the ratchets on these are phenomenal. I'm pretty sure that that Takara wasn't like that. I mean, this is, it's really nice. The knees. everything's so stiff. Very, very impressed. Taking a closer look at this face sculpt, I think this is more prominent now, where it really does look like the face they've used for the Age of Extinction, which I guess is a good thing, so this makes this still quite a relevant toy. And they're still boshing out the add-on kits for this. There's so many out there. I mean, fans want it, have got their new upgrade kit coming as well, and that looks insane. Really, really good. And you know how much I love the Jetwing one they done. That was an amazing, amazing one. I wish I had this at the time. And of course, me being me, I'm not the richest of men, so I have to sell bits to fund bits, and so my fans wanted kit got sold. I am genuinely devastated because this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let's just remove his gun from his hand. Place him over the back there. Might help if I stand him properly. And let's just take a look at the gun. There's a slight difference to the gun here. This section here it's on a ball, but it is a little bit loose. Might just want to add a touch of like nail polish or something to the actual ball there to tighten up a little bit. But all in all, I mean, you just take a look at the quality of this. I mean, that is incredible, isn't it? Paint applications are impeccable. It is just the Buster gun, isn't it? It's fan-dabby-dozy. Wow. Wow. I'm saying wow, aren't I? Ben, you're overusing the word. Now, this the super fun gun, what we're going to do, it's tabbed in just on here, so untab that there, and this whole section here is kind of clipped on. I'm going to just remove that. There's a peg here and a peg there, so they're kind of pegs together. We want to just convert these so we can store them on his back. This one's nice and simple. Push that in, make sure that's fully back. That is one of them. This one's a little bit more complex. It's basically just got to fold it round on itself. So if we start with this side, fold it round, that clips into there. And this side, just rotate on this axis here. And then this section here is on a little ball joint. So, see what I mean about that? It's a little bit loose, this one here. But all in all, I think it's not the biggest gripe in the world. Pop that in. Then want to spin that round. And there's a tab somewhere along here. There, see it? There, tab there. Spin that around and tab that into there. We've now got our two smokestacks. Coming round to the back of Prime, I've just folded these back sections up. They just lift up and fold out. You want to go to the one with all like the jigsaw foldy pieces on it, and that one clips in on this grey tab. You'll hear that plug in like so, and that one then just pulls down. And come around to the other side, and you've got this small kind of groove on this side. And again, if we just lift that up, we can then just, he says, should just be able to slide that one in like so. There we go. That's his smokestacks on his back. You can now swing these rear leg pieces down, and there's a hole just on the red section, and there's a peg just above the smokestack. You can now just pop that in, he says, lining it up like so. There we go. That's the back of Prime with smokestacks. Right, to get him into vehicle mode, your first step is to kind of lift this upper torso section, and it comes away from the leg section. So we need to kind of pull down on the legs. There you go. Did you see that? That then reveals this section here. You can then lift this section up and across like this. Right, we're going to start with the legs. At the moment your feet are like this. You want to fold them up into this flat position so the toes are pointing down. And if you grab the legs, at this point here, you should then be able to unfold this foot section. It should just lift up like so. It's pegged in by a really tight connector there, but these then fold forward like that. You want to do that with both feet. So if we come around again, just fold that forward like so on that hinge. So you've now got really long extended toes. Right, I've turned the legs over, so you've got the grill on the front here. You then want to flick this grill up like so, and do the same for both sides like that, and then you can fold the inner bits of the legs like so. Now you don't have to nip these together at this point, but I always find it a little bit easier to do so. So there's a peg section here and a peg section on there. That pegs in like so, and the grill itself clips together in two places. You've got a peg here and a peg there. Those two peg together, and then this slots in the top there. So let's push that all together. There, that's nice and firm. Now come round to these secondary wheels here, and you can see there they are on a hinge. You want to pull this all the way down, and there's a tab here, and that tabs nicely into the section that we just pegged together. So let's put you in there. In you go. There we go, that side's in. Come around and do the same on the other side. Right, once you've pegged the legs in at this point, there's then a peg just up here, if you can see that. It just goes into this silver section of leg. You can peg that in there. That then brings this in a little bit tighter. And you can then, I don't know if you can see here, there's a small nub on the wheel arch that rotates round and pegs directly into the grille. So that holds that front section together really nice and tight. Clip that in. There we go. Just give everything a little squeeze. At the moment, we have got sitting down Optimus Prime. Come around to the back here. Grab the wheel arch section. You want to fully extend that wheel arch, like so. And then you want to rotate that one round. You want to do that for both sides. So let's come around here. Let's fully extend the wheel arch and then rotate it round like so. Right, here comes the fun part. We need to get to play with the mess that is his chest section. First of all, flick this section up at the back there. It's a peg just retaining it. Right, you then want to pull this whole section up here. And I don't know if you can see underneath here, there's a small sliding tab. Yes, you are. Small sliding tab, slide that up and kind of pull up and to the right, and that should then pull this small tab out of its retaining. Oh yes, I should have took the batteries out. Come on, out you come. There we go. Okay, I've pulled it right off, but this nubbin basically is in there, and you need to pull it up and to the right to dislodge it. If for any reason like mine this does come off, just pop that back on like so. Fold these little flaps in like so. That then pops this window out. Next glorious transformation stage for this is pull this section out here and then pull this hinge down. So you've kind of released all this section here. Let's do the same for this side. So pop that one out and pull that one down. Wow, this side here was so tight. They had to get a Jimmy in there just to kind of lever it out. But yes, we know you're Optimus Prime, we know. But yeah, just be really, really careful with that one then, because I mean that is ridiculously tight in there. Pull this section down, and at the same time you can rotate this section forward. This whole section here is going to form part of the cab. This whole back section here is on a hinge here. You could push that down. That then lies over these wheels. And we can come round to the arms. Now, I know they look a bit of a mess at the moment, but what you want to do, you want to straighten these arms out. This section here unclips. You can then fold that over, and this here is going to form the front and side of the cab. So you want to rotate that round, like so, then spin that round, so you're left with a section that looks like that. Move Prime's head down and out of the way. Right, spin the silver section round, so it's on the forward end. There's a tab just behind here. This then tabs in behind the wheel guard, like so. You then want to fold this section here, goes in and kind of hinges back. Do you see how I've done that? So it's now facing inwards. That then pulls this whole section forwards, and you can basically wiggle, 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 yeah, and plug this whole section in on the front here. These are now in. Right, I've pulled this apart just so it's easier to see what we're doing here, and basically the head needs to be in this position. These then pull down over, and they'll just peg together. There's a small tab here. What I want to do, this needs to fit in to this groove here. It will slot in there like so. You can then plug, once that's in, you can then plug everything back together again. That's in, that can then come over, that goes in, and everything plugs in as it should. Wow, I forgot how fun this was to transform. Come around to the back. You want to grab this section here. It's pegged in onto this blue section. Fold that one out, and then fold this section up. Slides on this sliding point here and locates on a peg there. You then want to flip both of these out like so. You then push this hinge here forward. See this big silver one? Push that forward and roll these forward as well. They'll then cover up this section. There's nowhere for these to actually locate themselves. They will just cover up this entire roof section like so. Now, don't make the mistake that I did. I make it all the time. There's a small flappy section under here. Make sure that's folded in underneath everything before you get to this point. I had to just quickly unpeg everything and fold it back in again. But obviously this won't transform whilst it's like that. Now you want to bring this section down, and there's a peg kind of just on the side here. So this all pegs in nice and securely, like so. The smokestack section comes round, kind of rotate it round, 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 and round, and then that pegs in there like so, kind of making that look like it's all one piece. And let's come round and do it on this side as well. This is all pegged in nicely. This section rotates up and round, covers up this section here, and then there's a tab just in, where's the tab on this side? There. Just there. There we go. And that's tabbed in like so. And there we have vehicle mode. To be honest with you, I've always hated, and I mean hate is a strong word, but I mean it, I've always hated the transformation on this because it's not even remotely fun. I can completely see why Hasbro and Takara have gone back to basics with the kind of shell formers for the new movie, because this just took all of the fun. Oops. Yeah, there's a button on the back there, isn't it? Look. It kind of took all of the fun out of the Transformer. It's just far too complex and unnecessary, really. I mean, the shell former bit does just as well, in my opinion. And yeah, dear, it's such a shame because, I mean, realistically, it's really genius how they've done it. There's next to no kibble in either mode, and the parts forming is fantastic. But wow, would you honestly believe this is a knockoff? Everything kind of tabs in as it should. I was warned that things might not tab in as well. I mean, it's no less awkward to tab in than the original Hasbro version. Got a small visible point on the top there where I just think that's how the transformation's gone. I mean, that's incredible. An absolutely beautiful piece. That is so heavy as well. this is probably one of the best purchases I have done this year. I am so glad I bought it. There's the new fans want it. It's kind of the Jetwing section from Dark of the Moon. I'm hoping they do a Takara chromed out variant of that, so I can get that to go with this guy. But all in all, I am over the moon. I'm really, really stoked, and yeah, I can't actually recommend this enough. There's a lot of Optimus Prime fans out there, and there's a lot of fans that do like this movie figure. And if you can't afford a Buster Prime like myself, this is a very affordable equivalent. And without the knowledge of like the pinstriping and the kind of like chest gearing and everything, which is slightly different, you wouldn't know that this is a knockoff. I mean, the detailing on the front here, I mean, let's see if I can get that into focus. I mean, absolutely stunning. You can see me, look, hi! That's fantastic. Really, really am happy with this. So, sorry Anthony. I said to Anthony, if I don't like it, then I'll be getting rid of it. And sorry dude, this is a keeper. This is a must. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has been informative, and I'm sorry that the transformation took so long and it was so hadbash. It's such a complex mechanism, and there's no real fun way of doing that. So, from myself and Complexity KO Optimus Prime, until next time, goodbye.